Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. In this Warcraft Rumble dungeon guide, I'm going to take a look at Deadmines on a beast week with no talents whatsoever. First, a quick recap of the boss mechanics. The theme of Deadmines is free stuff. First boss, Mr. Smite, has lots of free stuff. These are free, these are free, these are free. There's going to be Stonehoof Torrents that are free. And yeah, so you're going up against quite overwhelming odds. There's a couple of gold veins here, there's a gold vein over there, there's a pair of meeting stones, and that is the map. And the way I like to play this map, I like to take this meeting stone and I like to push from here. So I control these two gold veins, I can mine from these, and I push towards Smite from here. And that's basically the plan. I only defend the other side. I don't really go anywhere over there. There's a torrent that walks through this pipe. One way to beat it is to place whelpeks over there. So the torrent is going to charge into whelpeks and then the whelps are going to shoot at it. Or you can have some tanky minis that can also fight against it. I like to turn this arrow so that whenever I send minis here to defend, they will go over the bridge and then they will join the main assault. This other arrow can be used to get something to the meeting stone, but otherwise you just send them over here. These can be killed, for example, with whelpeks as well, or just with a big assault and get at Smite and try to win. The second boss, Cookie, continues the same theme of free stuff, because Cookie gets these huge swarms of minis for free. They come from this side, stay here for a while, Cookie is going to give them an additional level, and then they come from here. They also come from this side, stay for a while, Cookie gives them a level, and they come through here. So you need a way to deal with these swarms. There's basically three alternatives. Actually, maybe there's only two alternatives now. The Safe Pilot has been nerfed, because it's been Safe Pilot plus whelpeks, or Blizzard, or Living Bomb. My favorite is the Living Bomb, because if you Living Bomb them while they're near Cookie, Cookie is also going to get damaged. If you Living Bomb them while they're near a tower, the tower is going to get damaged. Depending on the level of your Living Bomb, you might even be able to take towers like that. And that just gives you a good way to get some towers. Other than that, the map includes a couple of chests, a couple of gold veins. Typically, I try to grab the chests at the opening and then attack this tower and this tower as soon as possible. I also try to send a miner here as soon as possible because there's 2 nuggets of gold right there. So if I can send a miner out there early, then it's going to just give me more gold. With all of this gold, I can then afford to do something like Living Bomb here when this squad is moving in. Those Living Bombs, get some towers, then start assaulting Cookie, and that's the second map. And the third boss, Sneed, has his own take on free stuff, because Sneed has these platforms. And when these platforms are sparkly like this, then the next mini that's going to step on them is going to be destroyed, and 5 copies of it are going to come down here. So Sneed has Molten Giants, for example, so if a Molten Giant steps here and gets copied, then you have to deal with 5 Molten Giants, or your own minis. So you can try to drop some unbounds here. You can also keep sending stuff from here. For example, Cobalt Miners that are going to mine here and then walk over there. So you can try to get some of your own weaker minis copied to prevent more powerful minis being copied. That's the main Sneed mechanic. Other than that, there's a couple of gold veins, there's a chest over there and another chest over there. I like to attack here, take this tower first, then take this tower and then push from here towards Sneed and then just win from there. But the main problem is usually these platforms. One tip for the platforms is that this bridge is hugely important because everything comes down over here. So if you have ranged units on the bridge, then they can shoot down from the bridge and then they can just quickly kill anything that comes out. So that can help you control even those Molten Giants. So this is my no talents army. It can be used with any leader. I have gameplay footage here with a Charlga clearing a red difficulty dungeon with this, Hogger also clearing red difficulty dungeon with this. With Hogger I actually accidentally left 1 talent on, but don't mind that. You can see from Charlga gameplay that it doesn't really matter. The army anyway. The army is Quillboar, Angry Chickens, Plague Farmer, Footman, Living Bomb and Chimera. So how does this work? First boss, Mr. Smite, you're going to try to do a push with Footmen and Chimeras, and maybe some Plague Farmers in the back as well. Plague Farmers, one big advantage is huge range, so Plague Farmer is heavily far behind the Footmen and can shoot from there. Chimera, slow speed, lots of damage, can comfortably fly behind the Footmen and just deal a lot of damage. So those are your main assault force. You have Chickens. Chickens are good against Prowlers, they're good against Stonehoof Torrent, so they can help you defend. You have Quillboar for some distraction and for taking the right meeting stone. And while Living Bomb sometimes can be used if there's a big bunch of enemies somewhere, but Living Bomb is really for the second boss, because second boss, Cookie, Living Bomb is the key. Without talents, I really think Living Bomb is by far the best option. If you have talents, you have some other alternatives as well. But without talents, Living Bomb, just handling those Cookies big packs, then it's just wonderful. And again, you can push with Footmen, Chimeras, Plague Farmers, Quillboard to distract Cookie a little bit. Cookie's also going to take a bunch of damage from your Living Bombs when you Living Bomb the packs right next to Cookie. Chickens don't do that much in that map, although they can be still used for prowlers and they're good at opening chests. So that's what I do with them a lot in that specific map. Then third map, Sneed. Again, we're doing the same Footman Chimera push. This time we need to pay attention to the platforms. We have Quillboard, we can drop Quillboards on the platforms. We try to, of course, send Cobalt Miners down the middle, try to get some of those copied. Also can try to get some chickens copied. But if something big gets copied, Plague Farmers on the bridge, and then Chimeras sent from the left tower. Those are really my key solutions, and they can actually kill quite a bit of stuff. You will see in the gameplay footage that I sometimes didn't manage to prevent big stuff from getting copied, but I was able to handle it anyway. And yeah, so I have gameplay footage. I have a clear with Charlga, and I have a clear with Hogger. Hogger does have Plague Farmer talent, but just please ignore that. I forgot to turn it off when I made that army. Anyway, should showcase you enough on how this army works, and this is how you can do this. If you don't have talents for those Armored Abominations and Flayburst Wellbacks and all stuff like that. So this is what it all looks like in action. Alright, Deadmines, let's open up with Hogger against Mr. Smite. So the armies are coming a little bit from both sides. That's quite atypical, and I don't see that very often. I still want to take that stone whenever I can. Footmen are going to hold the Prowler in place a little bit. Then Plague Farmer. What I really like about Plague Farmer is that range. As you can see, it's far behind the Footmen. So because Mr. Smite has stuff like Chain Lightning, then Plague Farmer just chilling far behind there, out of reach of Chain Lightning, it's just beautiful. So we're getting that assault in. I turned the arrow so that this team would go over the bridge, because I don't want to take the left stone. I don't want to get into that stuff at all. And now I want something against that Tauren. If I had been a little bit faster, would I have been able to get the Footman and save the Plague Farmer? Maybe, but be that as it may, they should still be fine. And Chimera just starts to get some damage in. And here we go. I'm trying to prevent the AI from mining from these two nodes. Those two nodes are mine. Maybe, hopefully. At least I try to make them mine. Anyway, here we go. Getting some hits in. Now my Chimera is a little bit too far ahead. I'm trying to protect it with the chickens and getting some new Footmen out there and a second Chimera. And now we're in a pretty good spot. We have two Chimeras, we have a lot of Footmen. We need just a little bit of protection. I think the Chimera is going to be the one that takes the first hits, and it is. That's unfortunate. And the second Chimera too. So, okay, that failed a little bit in that sense. But it's not too bad, really. We're still getting some damage in. I can use the chickens to handle the Tauren. Sadly, the free minis, the Stealth Troll and friends just spawned. So now I'm trying to defend the stone here. I don't want to lose the stone. Holding on to that stone is quite important for me. So now I'm holding the stone, and then we're starting another push. Footmen go in tanking, and then some Plague Farmers and stuff. And now I see that there is an unfortunate push coming in from that side. I could have also maybe waited a little bit, and once the Mountaineer commits, I could have used the Chimera. That would have been an option. Well, maybe the chickens were fine. I'm mostly just defending there. And as it happens, Smite got poisoned enough that Smite just ended up dead. Alright, second map, time to beat Cookie. Turning the arrow over there. Typically I would like to send a miner to mine and then chickens to pick up the chests, but I don't have chickens offered right now, so I'm going for some other minis to grab those chests, so then I will have a bunch of gold. Now I would need to spend some gold, come on. Missed one gold basically there. I should have summoned the Chimera at the far back and then went with the Living Bomb. That would have been fine. But now the Chimera is a little bit later, but it's not too late, it's still gonna be fine. And just look at the damage that Chimera can push. Chimera behind Footmen, it's really something that I discovered this week, specifically when I did all the testing for Deadmines, and I have enjoyed that a lot. Chimera just deals a whole bunch of damage. It's slow enough so that it can actually work with the Footmen and just doing great things. Here, sadly, the tower survived. I need to save a little bit of gold for that living bomb so that I will get those minis down. Now, I would want to get the tower. I don't want the tower to be healed, so I'm sending a Quill Boar to do a little bit of damage over there. Trying to send a Plague Farmer together with some chickens. Alright, that actually worked quite okay. And the chickens are here, the Plague Farmer is here. Here I'm actually benefiting on, well, it was one shot, so tower would have gotten one hit into the Plague Farmer if I didn't have the talent, so actually didn't matter too much at all. So now we have one tower, and just remember to save gold for the living bomb. So there goes the living bomb. I'm a little worried that a Prowler might actually even take down a tower. I'm not sure if with this level difference it does that yet. I've just been doing those minus trees with talent, so getting a little scared of letting my buildings tank. But so far this is going quite alright. We have some plague farming action. We have some chickens, footmen, and now Chimera coming in. And sitting behind the footman, but not for long because the footman is going down, and then there's a huntress as well, and then the Chimera dies. Well, that happened. Be that as it may, we're sending in some more troops. Okay. Still trying to get those two towers. I think getting those two towers is the steadiest way. Previously I used to just take the leftmost tower, but I've now come around to taking the center tower as well for a little bit more control. Alright, Griffin Rider, the infamous Griffin Rider. I don't have a lot of anti-air in this comp, but that's totally fine. There are not that many aerial threats, and there are more important things to worry about. Now pretty much everything has just died. Alright, we're sending in a distraction. I'm playing this like I don't have the talent because I didn't remember that I had the talent equipped. If I remembered that I had the talent equipped, I would not have needed a distraction, because I would have known that the Plague Farmer can actually shoot at the tower beyond range. But every move is made like it can't, because I don't remember that I forgot to take away the talent. Anyway, another squad is coming in, we have the living bomb ready, and boom, we blow them up. There are those gnolls in here, so if I send chickens, chickens will just die to a single hit, so chickens are not good in this map. Apart from, they're really good at opening chests. And sometimes they can also work against prowlers, of course, and something like that. So, we're fairly deep into overtime, but we haven't dealt a lot of damage to Cookie yet, which is obviously slightly concerning. On the upside, we now have a really, really big assault coming in. And by a really big assault, I mean a really big assault. Because here we're coming, and I've sent the assault intentionally from the left side, because I knew that the next pack would spawn on the right, so that my assault doesn't end up fighting against that pack. Now they don't end up fighting against that pack, and what happens instead is that we're getting Cookie poisoned by Chimera, by Plague Farmer, and then Cookie ends up dead. And finally there is Sneed. Without Flame Burst Wellpacks, it's really hard to do any unbound strategies here. I'm trying to get the chests. I would love to send the Footman first. I wasn't offered the Footman, so I couldn't. And I would like to send a Miner to the middle. I wasn't offered a Miner, so I couldn't. But, I mean, I just cycled rapidly to get what I need. And now I have what I need, which is Footman, Plague Farmer, Chimera. This big push that I have going on here without talents. And also, now the first copies are always the same. That's going to be the Sapper copy and the Kobold Miner copy. That's fine. The third copy usually is going to be a Molten Giant unless you do something to intervene. So now my intervention is actually quite ineffective there, because the chickens were killed by the Ogre Mage. And now I end up in a worse position, because now the Ogre Mage is coming together with the Mountain Giant, and yeah, that's not what I like to see. because that ogre mage it's a real problem. It can now just, if I send the chickens out there to defend, the ogre mage will kill them. I had to wait until the ogre mage commits, and the ogre mage starts shooting at my base. And then I was ready to deploy chickens, so that then the chickens would attack the mountain giant, and yeah, that wasn't pretty, and in a more difficult dungeon level that would have been a loss right there. So sending the chickens out there earlier, that delayed the molten giant, that was a bit of an issue. But be that as it may, luckily enough on this level it was not an instant loss, and that means that we can still continue. Alright, we're also about to grab a second tower. We're getting a chicken copied this time. That is beautiful. Getting a chicken copied it's the best thing. Just look at those chickens. They're also a little bit lost every time they come out of the copy machine. They don't even know where to go. And now, because there is a brief cooldown period, we're trying to send stuff out there while it's on cooldown. I actually ended up copying a footman, I think. Yeah, but footman, it's still not as bad as copying a molten giant, so that's okay. My base is so low that I have to be very, very careful about my base. That's why I'm sending the chickens to meet the molten giant very early here, so that I make sure that it doesn't get too close. And I'm sending the Chimera and the Plague Farmer to defend against that push. Also, Chimera from the left tower, it's going to fly above the bridge. So it's going to shoot at minis on the bridge, and then it's also going to shoot at minis below the bridge. As you can see here, just look at what that Chimera is doing. It killed the Molten Giant, it killed the copied safe pilots, it killed the Batrider. Chimera is just a superstar in this specific dungeon and in this specific map. And that was actually unnecessary. It would have copied the Kobold Miner. I was a little uncertain. I thought it would end up copying a Footman, but it would have copied a Kobold Miner, so that Quillbore was wasted. And now actually Quillbore is resistant, so it's not taking as much damage from Chimera either. And as may, our various pushes have dealt a fair bit of damage to Sneed. Sneed is already almost dead. I just need a little bit of something more. Get to Sneed and get that kill, and we're gonna be fine. Here again, Chimera. It's slow, so it spends a lot of time near the copy machine, and that means that it's just going to kill all sorts of stuff when it comes out. Like those safe pilots didn't stand a chance. They did not have an opportunity to shoot back. Now, that Chimera getting copied there was actually terrible for me. And there's also a Molten Giant and an Ogre Mage coming in, so I could be in trouble here, but my final push is just in time and we end up winning. And let's do the same exercise with Charlga. Same difficulty, same army, and a bit of a different start. No troll coming from there. I want to take the stone, and I want my first minis to meet wherever they attack from. If they attack from the stone, then I deploy them on the stone side. If they attack from here, I want them to meet this. And if I send my minis left, then I turn the arrow so that they will go over the bridge and then join the main assault. Although sometimes, of course, they do get a little bogged down like that. But look at that Chimera again. That's an untalented Chimera. And it's just doing beautiful work. Alright. Then we're going to send in some footmen. And now we have a pretty good push going. I should probably deploy a Chimera here. Yeah, that is the conclusion that I also come to. First I thought, I'm going to get a Quillbore. I'm going to lure the boss a little bit towards right by placing a Quillbore near there. But nah, we got the Chimera in. Chimera starts to poison the boss. Footmen are tanking. Now I use a Quillbore, but now the 3 minis spawned and ouch. Well, that destroyed my push. Too bad. We were so close. We were this close to greatness. If I actually had like a poison talent on Chimera there, then Smite would have been dead already. Because it was that close with no talents, and talents had a lot of DPS. Alright, so Plague Farmer is defending the base. The base is alive. Not necessarily doing well, but it's alive, and found a chance to use a Living Bomb, and boom, Smite's down. Alright, we're back at Cookie. So I would like to send Chicken to open chests, and I would like to send Miner to mine the vein, but Those were not available again, so I ended up sending just footmen. This time, now I was able to pick up the faster speed. So just look at those footmen run, and they're pretty hilarious. Pretty hilarious when they go on a hike like that. It's only until they get damaged though. Oh, they're still looking funny. All right, so we got both of the towers that I want right here early on. Some hits on the Chimera, but now footmen come in. And one upside of footmen as a tank here with Chimera is that there are 4 footmen, and Huntress glaive bounces into 3 targets. So if you have 3 footmen ahead of your Chimera, that means that Chimera does not take a hit from the glaive. Just a very, very useful thing to have. Now there's a couple of chests, and I would like to use chickens to open them. Well, Charlga doing Charlga things, so 5 ghost chickens they are. But consequently, there's also 1 ghost footman and 2 ghost Chimera, so Charlga gives and Charlga takes away. Now I probably should mine. Now I was unable to mine because the Huntress was coming, but also deploying the Plague Farmer did nothing, so should have done something completely different. Should have sent the miner down there, actually. That's what I should have done. That would have been the optimal play. Because now there's another pack, and I need to handle the packs with the living bomb. And boom, and now if I had sent the miner out earlier, I would have been able to mine that vein. I would not have gotten any of that gold. I would have just made life much easier for myself. Anyway, there's a prowler, and when there's a prowler, there's good opportunities for chickens. No chickens coming in. We still have some time. I just need to start setting up another push. Probably footmen from this far behind. Well, they have the movement speed relic now, so I guess it works. Actually, I think I had noticed that Huntress coming, and I knew that that tower was going to fall, and that's why I sent the push from far back, so that the push would retake the tower. Now another living bomb. Look at the boom. Just look at that living bomb damage on Cookie as well. So Cookie definitely not feeling very healthy. I should send these down right now. Don't send them to the left, send them to the right, because right was the side where the push last came. I did not remember to do that. That's unfortunate. So sending them to the right, I think that would have just ended the game there, because the push would have arrived at Cookie quite safe and sound. No risk of another squad coming in, and then the game would have just ended. Although it does appear that the game is just going to end anyway, so okay, it's all good. Boom, Cookie down. Then it's Sneed time, no Flame Burst X, so we have to do this the hard way. I get to do my ideal start. I get to send the footman towards the chest and the miner to the vein. I wait a little bit for the safe pilot to land and then send in the DPS in the form of Chimera. Chimera has really, this dungeon has really made Chimera grow on to me a little bit. Like, just look at that Chimera go. It's doing some splendid work. Oh, safe pilot? No worries, I have Chimera. And there, Quillbor gets copied. Wasn't actually necessary now, was it? Yeah. Sometimes I'm sending... Well, sending too many is still better than sending too few. Because just letting those Molten Giants get copied like they do now. But now you also get to see what happens with the Chimeras. Now I have that Chimera coming from the left. And I happen to also have a second Chimera on the right. So 2 Chimeras. Now sadly there's an Ogre Mage, so I will soon have only 1 Chimera. But look at the Chimeras. Just look at the amount of damage they deal to those Molten Giants. One of them gets through. And I think that I believe that I even have enough time to just grab a chest. Like, baller moves, I just don't care. I end up losing the tower temporarily for that move. I guess it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't quite good enough. Either way, we're trying to push. Now I need to get something unimportant copied. We're sending Quillbor to be copied, and we managed to get our footmen and our Chimeras across. So that's a good start. There's a bunch of Quillbor coming. Don't know, Living Bomb on those was probably a waste. Should have just worked on getting some good stuff out there. I can let that troll be copied, because I can just send footmen to kill the trolls. That's gonna be fine. And Chimera will be able to kill the Tauren. And hopefully we'll also be able to make a push here with the Chimera. I'm trying to distract the Ogre Mage, but I'm a little bit too late. And whoa, that Molten Giant copy was a bit of a surprise. Yeah, I mean, sometimes happens, but it depends on what sort of position you're in. Like right now, I'm not feeling too threatened even by these Molten Giants. Sure, they're annoying, but I have tools here. Well, also I haven't had the Whelp Tunic, and no matter what, Sneed is already dead, so that was some red clears with no talents. Thank you for watching. Click like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and a special thanks to all of my Patreon supporters, YouTube members and Twitch subscribers who make all of these videos possible.